তারা মিড গেমের পর থেকে বা মিড ম্যাচগুলোর পর থেকে কিন্তু তারা খুব ভালোভাবে তাদের স্কোরগুলোকে ইনক্রিজ করতে পেরেছে। সো আজকের দিনটা তাদের দিকেও তাকিয়ে রয়েছে সবাই। ভাইটালিটির জন্য আজকে বিগ ডে। ভাইটালিটি আজকে একদমই শেষ লড়াইটুকু চালাবে, শেষ চেষ্টাটুকু করবে কোয়ালিফাই করার জন্য। হটশটদের কথাও বলতে হবে, কারণ গ্রুপ বি থেকে তারাও কিন্তু পার্টিসিপেট করছেন। ফ্লুক্সও তাদের ক্ষেত্রেও সেম, এবং সেই সঙ্গে কিন্তু গ্রুপ বি এর আরো একটা মনস্টার টিম ইভোজ স্পোর্টস। দেখা যাক এই টিমগুলো আসলে কত বেশি পয়েন্ট কালেক্ট করতে পারে, কারণ আজকের দিনটাই তাদের জন্য শেষ দিন।
একদম লাস্ট ডে অ্যান্ড ইভোস অলরেডি অনেক ভালো পয়েন্টস গ্যাদার করছে ফার্স্ট ডেতে। যদিও আজকের দিনটাতে এসে ইভোসকে প্রথম দিনের মতো ওইরকম আগ্রাসী দেখা যাচ্ছে না, বাট স্টিল যেহেতু প্রথম দিনে একটা ভালো
খেলা দেখো না তখন
পর্যন্ত সেফ ফিল করছে, বাট আফটার 3 ম্যাচেস তাদের সংগ্রহ নোটিসেবল না। তো সেক্ষেত্রে তাদের আমার মনে হয় যে আরো একটু মনোযোগী এবং আরো একটু বেশি তাদের রোটেশন এবং এক্সিকিউশনের দিকে, স্ট্র্যাটেজি এক্সিকিউশনের দিকে মনোযোগী হওয়া উচিত। বাট ভাইটালিটি তারা কিন্তু আজকের দিনটাতে এসে একদম একটা টেক্সট বুক গেম প্লে দিচ্ছে। প্রত্যেকটা স্টেপ খুবই গুনে গুনে, প্রত্যেকটা স্টেপ তাদের, এবং ম্যাচ আমরা দেখতেও পাচ্ছিলাম একটা ডায়েরি নিয়ে তারা কিন্তু ক্যালকুলেশন করাও স্টার্ট করে দিয়েছে নিজেদের সেই স্ট্র্যাটেজি গুলো নিয়ে। সো আমার মনে হয় ভাইটালিটি আজকে মোর দ্যান এনাফ, তারা হচ্ছে প্রিপেয়ার্ড, তারা একদম নিজেদের সেরাটুকু দিচ্ছে তিনটি ম্যাচে। অ্যান্ড গ্রুপ সি এর কথা বলতে হলে তাদের জন্য আজকে আসলে ওয়ার্ম আপ ডে, একটা ফার্স্ট ম্যাচ, প্রথম দিনের পর তারা খুব ভালো সময় পেয়েছে টিমগুলোকে স্টাডি করার। বাট স্টিল তারা কিন্তু আজকের দিনটাতে এসে এক্সেপ্ট লস, তার বাকিদেরকে কিন্তু ঠিক ওইভাবে আমরা একদম বলবো না যে খুব ভালো পারফর্ম করছে বা আপ টু দ্য মার্ক পারফর্ম করছে।
And that is your update of Esports World Cup 2025. Let's see how our day 2 gets kicked off. Let's go.
We're so lucky, guys. I think we got the coolest looking stage.
I think we're the only ones that has like an ever-changing, elevated, and also like LEDs that show a countdown on the stage itself.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine having everyone in there and then seeing that. I felt that especially when the first time we came in, and it was something else. So I would agree with you, that is quite different and very good for Free Fire to be there.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to see this like on live. I mean, face to face, you know. So I love it, and I agree with you. I think that's the best arena.
Obviously the best for the best, right? You guys know what's up. Now, speaking of the best, we are still here with some of the best teams here in the world of Free Fire, and we are getting ready for our next matchup, right? Kalahari just concluded. Vitality, they were the ones to get the booyah there, and it was because I want to say a cascading number of events that really set that into motion, because there was one moment, and I think we all agreed here, if that moment didn't work out, then it would have actually been eliminated. And that was Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, if Onyx Olympus just joined in again with loss to take down Team Vitality, then they could have been out of there. So that was just something that, well, as we agreed, Onyx style. So hopefully they can pull away from that.
I suppose I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because if you're in Onyx mind, you're thinking, okay, we help LOS down Vitality, but we're on the second floor and the ring is already moving, and LOS is on the outside, so they get first rotation no matter what. We end up almost guaranteeing ourselves a place to begin with, right? So we need to secure a booyah, and if we're able to do it against LOS, we have better odds against them compared to Vitality.
Yeah, but the thing is, Vitality probably had the best position ultimately, right? So this was when the circle was still moving. They started running.
Wi-Fi net chilo na, no internet.
It almost feels like LOS and Onyx, they didn't expect that move. They probably thought that they were just going to go for a full-on sprint, you know, to close the gap. But as soon as they got onto the roof, they were safe, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kalahari really has. The hook gun, the utilization of the hook gun, quite pristine, especially on Team Vitality's side. But
Vitality
seems like they don't use that much. So I guess Team Vitality carrying over, like how we know Indonesians are playing Kalahari. So I guess it's really expected for them.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it already, the cascading effect. We saw the top 5 actually looking a little awkward, right? Fluxo jumping in between both Vitality and as well as EVOS, and then they collapsed, and then EVOS collapsed. All of their loot and all of their coins ended up giving just enough for them to use their pockmark to get the launcher in the first place, to get them on the roof.
March.
So because of a turn of events, a miraculous turn of events.
Hello.
It works out in Vitality's favor, but we'll have to see if that can continue because again, we're rotating to a new map, folks. Alpine. Now, how is Alpine going to play a role in this upcoming matchup? Who are the top teams that really should, in theory, take the points?
Well, Alpine is something that United really has in the bag most of the time. But it's really tough to call, especially as the first one the team made it earlier.
Yeah. Alright, Carls, looks like, folks, our Carls
match maybe started.
ready to go. We're going to be jumping into Alpine in just a second for match number 4. Throwing it over to our wonderful casters.
Alpine
and let's see who nabs this next booyah.
Next
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, you know what it is. You're back here with the Mustachio and Husky as we kick game 3 off. It's going to be Alpine time. And of course, the question is going to be who has got the ice in their veins. Will we continue to see Dragons Esports climb up to the top? They had a fantastic start here today, Husky, but I haven't seen a lot from them after that.
Yeah, not just Dragon, R7 as well. Movie star R7. You say Dragon Esports has ice in their vein. We're looking at Stone Cold killers from this region, from this team of 4. And dropping into Alpine strike, we're seeing some conflict. R7 against RRQ,
Dragon Esports
between Railroad and Carousel. That could lead to what the panelist has been repeating a few times, cascading effects down to Sunside and Basecamp where Onyx are located. But aside from that, Dragon and Fluxo also might bump into each other.
Yeah, unlike Dragons, R7 has been pretty consistent with their points, and they're at the very top of the leaderboard right now for today's performance. A total of 44 points in their hands. But it looks like you just cursed the boys, Husky.
RRQ.
Wait, what happened? Did they get eliminated? Look. We saw Vision System, right? Clearly, it is their own action that led to the whole caster curse thing. Is just a way to scapegoat my.
R7 or RRQ.
I'm not gonna take this down live anymore. I need to stand up for myself.
Well, it looks like Della is setting up for the rest of his squad. Good time Turner pulled out there. He's just the pure distraction. And he gets a headshot out of nowhere as well. Della yesterday going for yet another 18 deer. Can't get the job done with the mini Uzi. It's just a matter of time. Steps by the window. A little bit of crossfire from the opposite side. And 18 deer with a big mistake as Della pulls away a 1v2 solo as he handles the boys from RRQ.
Catastrophic from RRQ. What was 18 deer thinking?
Trying
to coin flip a melee? You had a way better chance with the weaponry that you have. RRQ
mal khabe
shesh. Uncomfortable spot. This is as bad as it can be. Ma'al tucks into cover but loses majority of his health. R7 once more ice cold.
Yeah, 2 more survivors here for the side of RRQ. One mistake, and instead of putting a stop to the momentum of R7, they boost them up even further. This is absolutely insane of consistency out of R7. Will lose his life as well. One final insurance policy out there. What is on a revival spree. We will see more of RRQ, but for the time being, my goodness me, R7 yet again, the consistency being true.
This is uncanny, unexpected from R7. When we came into the Esports World Cup this year, we definitely have the impression that SEA regions and Brazil is going to dominate.
Yeah.
We were wondering how far the other regions, the ones that are less mentioned, are going to fare. But so far, they have been putting up a heck of a show. Onyx getting 2. We did see Lost taking on a couple members from the side of Hotshot, but Hotshot was able to get revivals in. So sure, points for Lost, but Hotshot are still in it to win it. Same for RRQ. And Anas pretty much all alone the 1v2.
Anas se samne. Are bhai open hai to isare.
Yep, Anas just stood no chance there whatsoever.
General. Hey, why na uth pick up de 3 mera
for the instant flank, had the vehicle as well to very quickly cut off his rotation, and an extra point for the Lost boys who were pretty lost in that first game. Very quickly found their footing, and now at pretty much close to the top of the leaderboard with their brothers R7, Latin and Brazil finding their footing here on day 2 to show Southeast Asia that it is not all about SEA. They've got a little bit of skin in the game as well. Now unlocking this ad drop vitality seems like Onyx showing distance here to stop these boys. So a couple of extra blue walls laid out here. Smart play from the players, but of course R7 looking for more out of RRQ.
If RRQ takes this fight, they have to make sure they win it. And it's not going to be in their favor. They don't have much time to gather resources. R7 have done their homework, showing up at drop, and that's exactly where RRQ are going to be. And Ma'al will be first contact. They know that he's going to be around. You see the Steph being Popped out very prematurely. I think games
Allah,
is just
Fluxo
going to the chase, force them onto the low ground, funnel
Fluxo team
into the gun
shesh.
barrel of Della, and another goes down from RQ.
Jubair.
And Fluxo eliminated so early on, we didn't even get to see
Hey,
that
Jubair.
battle, but R7 continues to cook the boys of RRQ. 18
লুকসো শেষ এই আটকাই যায় কেন আমার নেট সমস্যা
India.
তুমি যে সময় ম্যাচ দেখছিল ওই সময় আমি লুকসো সাপোর্ট করছিলাম
ও ভাই
With the VSK could not get it done. CQC
Joker
wins it
man.
out for the M590. RRQ hoping for a tad bit of a comeback here. They've won out the
Our
first
7
round
Joker
of the bout.
is done.
Della once again stepping back in to see if
RRQ,
or not he can
Abe.
save the squad.
Abe.
RTS 50 in the hands of Games King as well. This is going to be deadly. Dude turns it around.
XML দিয়ে কি যে মার দিল
saves himself for one extra
Della
second,
মেরা
but
দিল
the Dragon out of
Della মেরা দিল
dangerous.
save his skin.
মারা যায় easy.
Abe out of there as quick as lightning, and that buys him
এক্সএমএট আর যে ওয়ান
Honestly, only
ডেঞ্জারাস
Abai has enough resources to keep the team together, but at the very end, just outnumbered by R7. Games King, he's bleeding out, but there's plenty of time to bring it back into the game. RRQ still by the skin of the team. 18 deal who got revived earlier on by Abai, now escapes to Railroad to continue this run for the team. But the Indonesians, at least from RRQ, are not doing well at all. As we turn our attention to another Indonesian squad, Onyx, as they face off against Dragons.
It does seem that R7 has a vendetta up against RRQ, but I can tell you, they are thanking the boys. 7 points so far on the leaderboard. All thanks to RRQ falling time and time again. But Onyx up against Dragons. Dragons starting off the day hot and then simmered off real quickly right after that. I wonder where all of that extra firepower went, but up against Onyx now, looks like they don't want to make a pathway straight for a quick battle. They want to look for that circle, so they're going to make a long rotation in towards the next zone. They've got a rough idea, heading straight towards Space Camp.
And if you're Dragon Esports, you could consider going to Vantage or Ride, depending on how much resource you want to loot up before the next phase. But it's generally safe if you look at the map at this point of time. They do have the balance of some veterans we've seen before. Yasser, for example, Remind, who have played for the Middle Eastern region for plenty of international tournaments. I think this current situation is good for most of the teams that coincidentally all pick the circle to end up on the northeastern side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, look, 8 years into the game, almost everybody knows how to read the circles of Free Fire already. You can see every single squad heading straight in towards base camp because that's exactly what the pathway is looking to be like, right? Circle's going to shrink a little bit more, still going to be centered around base camp, and then perhaps moving up a little bit towards Alpha 34. This is perfect positioning for these big squads, looking for that early ground to play a good defense.
What a good read. This is experience and homework really paying off. BRU, they are already in the thick of it. And this is a team that has over time started to slow down a little bit. Play
গেম শেষ করছো সিজন
না না
হ্যাঁ সাইডে
more calculated and only strike when the iron is hot. But now they are forced into a situation where they might have to start shooting early. And that could be a point of change for the team. With so many teams around that could punish them. Hotshot though made a full recovery. Now they're going to come in from the southern side of the map through Stadium and Rivermouth.
75 points. It's a lot compared to what they've been able to show us previously in those years on the global stage. This is very impressive from Hotshots, but we want to see them at least cross that 100-point mark. A little bit of a replay earlier on as well. You saw how R7 got the job done. A little bit off meta here with the Trogon, but it served them well. Speaking of off meta, Trogon, Jonah and Masada holding on to those guns. We had big questions. What is Masada going to do without his Tatsuya? I'm pretty curious as to how he's going to handle it as well. Thus far, past 2 games, they haven't been doing all that too good.
We even saw Wasana talking about how when he came into the team, everyone helped him get to his feet, to play like a team, to play like a family and then friends, and to get him up to speed. It took him almost more than 1 year to get that first trophy to finally prove that he belongs in BRU. Even though all of us said that he is the perfect fit, but they needed an achievement to cement that fact. Now EWC is going to be that rejection arc. Moshi takes contact as Alpha 34 now rushes into the building. The attic fight is very, very congested. As body starts to hit the ball. Lin's first to go down. Wasana with the Trogon once more. Just pumping up right into the ribcage. As Jonah finds BRU coming up with the big wins, with the big guns, with the big big shots, and Alpha 34 is no more.
Alpha 34 just rushed in to get deaths. They should have gone in there for the full-on commitment. Instead, prematurely pulling up those glue walls, just the wrong idea. Drogon straight to those glue walls, instantly ripping them down. And obviously, Buriram taking full advantage of that situation. Free 4 points for the Thai dominant squad. But of course, this is their recovery game in game 4 now. You want to see exactly how far they can move with that. R7, on the other hand, flirting with the blue right outside the circle, just tanking a little bit of damage as they go in for that long rotation round.
There's a chance that they run into RRQ again at Dock. You see RRQ are making their rotation too. A big scan with the binoculars from RRQ. I believe 2 of them, and that's a big crowd that they just spotted out. RRQ do not want to interact with anyone at this point of time. But for Onyx, they might not have a choice. They see RRQ and Ma'al. He's a sitting duck, lands on top of the tower. But what do you do at this point? Hotshot hears the gunshots, and they will be ready.
Yeah, this next circle, Buriram is actually betting big here that the circle is going to be looking for them instead of base camp. So Sunside is a very low probability. Still moves on towards base camp, but thankfully Buriram doesn't really need to travel all that too far. RRQ, on the other hand, losing a bay at this point of time, that's going to be torturous. Looking for a vending machine in such a crowded base camp is going to be close to impossible.
It's pretty safe to call it for RRQ, because this game has not gone that way at all. They don't have anything to work with. And in this current spot, minimal loots, minimal cover. Just gotta pray for just 1 or 2 extra placement points. But for R7, Carousel used to be safe, but with a rotation from BRU, there's a chance that because the circle didn't end on Sunside, they could pivot towards Carousel.
Yeah, I just expected them to just strut in towards Sunside. Instead, they wanted to go for the long rotation. Unfortunate for them, R7 had the exact same idea. Now Buriram gets to gatekeep R7. We'll catch up with the action in a little bit. The Lost Boys, on the other hand, very far away from base camp. As they move on in, they are at risk of being gatekept by 2 squads. Vitality as well as Dragons, and this could just serve Dragons up really well as Vitality puts in their hard work. They could steal away some crucial points off of that.
Not only that, core memory and Evos are also around the corner, right? That could escalate into a 4-squad fight. R7 and BRU, unfortunately, will have to duke it out in a very fair fight. They can knock it out. As Holiday in general fell to the feet. What happened? They broke their ankle somehow, but brought back up pretty quickly. As our attention turns back to R7, BRU, all gathering around the overall behind the monster truck. Game King has a good angle. Doesn't get the shot that he needs as BRU now splits up.
Yep, danger in the nick of time here. Cassie's electrotherapy already connected already. Under the bridge like the trolls. Buriram
Buriram maybe খাবে Buriram maybe খাবে আমার এরকম লাগতেছে 2 সেট দিয়ে মেরে দিতেছে
Hacks, he has a chance to intercept it, but Jonah now.
Wasana no.
Catches Wasana. We see the Tatsuya dash in front, has a step feed, and gets knocked down by an ability from BRU. Della getting the corner of a BRU again. When you strike at the king, you bet not miss, and R7 unfortunately has missed
R7
the fatal blow. Joker will just be a past memory. BRU triumphs over them.
R7
and you can thank Diva for that, baby. Instantaneous pick up. Buriram with that instant recovery, turning the tables on R7, and this was that exact moment that we talked about.
Buriram to Wasana knock করে দিছিল ড্যামেজ অনেক চারটা প্লেয়ার কিন্তু শেষ
they are on the back foot looking for the circle. They have to cross paths with 2 very strong Indonesian squads. RRQ as well as Onyx, and RRQ actually has got the high ground advantage. Buriram in a lot of trouble unless they whip out a jump back.
Not only that, RRQ are at their weakest moment. There isn't a universe where RRQ could mess up the rotation of BRU, but aside from that, you remove them from the picture. This is as clear as it gets for BRU to run straight into base camp for that rotation. Lost now takes on Esports. Getting knocked down very quickly. Unfortunately, there is just no backup plan. Action has to watch it out go down as his teammates perish one by one.
Yeah, Woodpecker pecking away at the boys of Hotshot. And of course, you can hear the shots of the AWM off of the players of Lost as well. And unfortunately,
Lost সামনে যে ড্রাগন Esports এর একটা ওই ফুল স্কোর
they just kept their heads down low, not wanting to interfere in this engagement at all. They could have pulled
ঘরের ভিতরে সব
there, but that was a lost opportunity.
জেনারেল নো ভাই কি হইছে ভাই
Can he get it with the SMG?
তারে কে মারতেছে
the one that gets it done. Round 1 is the next player down on the ground. Lost did not expect this, and they are getting wiped by the most unsuspecting
lost team ever.
The Dragons once more raw and soar into the skies. Now they get a safe spot. Onyx did get wiped out by BRU. As BRU's warpath continues straight into the circle. That retired them goes straight over to Narnia.
Lost guys, dilo na oder upore eta to gathা আমি
This
করতে
late
হবে
into the
এটা
game,
কিন্তু
A124 in the hands of Koja. Vitality, Booyah winners of the previous round.
এক সেকেন্ডে পুরো পুলিশ স্কট শেষ হয়ে
It is
যায়
all blue, but BRU are the
Evo's এখনো আছে
Nobody gate kept
Evo's এর দুইটা প্লেয়ার নাই
Unfortunately,
দুইটা প্লেয়ার
Evo's is the one that
Evo's
played, and it
রাখে
wasn't even
না
supposed
Vitality
to
চারটা প্লেয়ার আলাই
long shots from afar, extra 2 points collected, and now that puts Evo's at risk. They cannot find the Booyah that easily. Core memory up against Evo's. Booyah joining the fray as well, but they take the top of the roof. This is going to give them a little bit of an advantage, but also pulling in the attention from Vitality's grenade.
এরকম লজিতে খেলছো
under the belt. If there's a time to stop them, it is going to be now, or they will run away with the group
একবার
stage.
খেলছিলাম মনে আছে লাস্ট জনে 30 জন বাচ্চা ছিল
Starts it up. Cougar with the follow-up. Two down BRU.
মাস্টার লবি তো লাস্ট জনে 30 জন বাচ্চা
Gets back up, intercepted by Ryzen KS. Core memory and Vitality have a singular
Hey, Buriram শেষ
get the job done.
Oh, beautifully done here, and C4 finding Koja from the back.
বাইরে কি
To rip away their Booyah here at
এটা
the
চলতে
expense
না
of
কোনে গেল
Vitality.
ভিতরে
They do have digs right up on top of the roof with the bird's eye view.
Blast
With the
zone.
glue wall melters all laid out already, and
কি
the circle
হইতাছে
favoring the EMEA squad as well.
ভাই,
Dragons
এদের
have a strong chance, but
একটা রেড
unfortunately
ক্রিমিনাল
this
আর
is
একটা
going to
কি
drag
আল্লাহ
along
জানে
the rest
কোন
of the
দিকটা
squad.
কার ছাদের মধ্যে কার আছে মধ্যে কেডা
আরে ওদের আইডিতে সবকিছু আছে
Do you fight the Middle Eastern team, the Dragon Esports, or do you run straight into Core Memory?
আরে আল্লাহ
Both of them will turn
কি
them
চল
into dust and into the past. Core Memory
ভাই
is
ভাই
their
ভাই
pick,
ভাই
and that costed them 2 bodies. Evo's now joins
আমার
the equation.
ডিআরজি তো নিচে নামে না মাইর খায় অবস্থা খারাপ
But
আছে
this is
ডিআরজি
most likely going to be between Core Memory and Dragon Esports. 4 teams remain.
এটা কোন টিম এটা কোন টিম
Stuff here.
দর্শকের চিল্লায় দেখো এখানে
Consistency, but Dragons just showing that they want to make it through to point rush. Yes, here down on the ground, Cougar
Why
will make
did-
sure
why
that he
did-
gets put out. But from up top, Recifu finding one great connection with jump, pulls out a gear wall to block himself off for a important pickup onto River. He doesn't have a diva. A tad bit slow.
Last জনে কয়জন
Thankfully,
এবার
no
পাঁচ
grenades
জনে
finding
বানাই
the players of Dragon on the roof.
There is a chance that Evos messes this up, and in fact, even Evos has
কোনটা
to do
পুলিশ
with the
করবে
remnants
চাচ্ছে
of hot
ডিআরজি
shots
একজন
as
মরে গেছে
Cougar rejoins the rest of his team in that ground floor
ইভোসে
circle.
দুই
হট
জন
শটের
আছে
এখনো অ্যাকশন বেঁচে আছে
A lot more building to work with.
শেষ হট শট শেষ
In the
না
back
না
line, Ray still surviving, but now
শেষ,
has
শেষ,
to dip
hot
into
shot
the
শেষ।
shadows. Hot shot out in 4th place, and another top
Hey,
pick
Evo's
finish
মরে গেছে,
for
Evo's শেষ,
Pakistani.
Evo's
Yeah,
শেষ,
but that's
Evo's
good
শেষ।
enough for Pakistan, man. I mean, getting
Yes,
in
Evo's
towards
শেষ।
the top 4 after struggling a tad bit there. Good
Evo's
on them.
শেষ,
We
Evo's
want to
শেষ।
see more, but can
Evo's
Dragons do
এর
the
একজন।
impossible? Can they wrap up a solid Booyah here at
একটা
our
player
line?
আছে।
Core memory,
আচ্ছা,
they've
এটা
got
কোন
the
team আবার?
numbers.
এটা পাশে
Evo's
আবার
on the
কোন
other
team
hand
এটা?
just need to play the
DRG
game
আর
of
এটা Evo's তো
survival.
বুঝলাম, পাশে ওরা কি
Circling
কোনটা
on
লোগো
towards
ওটা?
Dragons. This might just
ওটা
be a
হচ্ছে তোমার
potential
core memory।
distraction that Dragons go for, and unfortunately, Core
CX
memory
CX
can take advantage of this.
This could also be slowly shaping up
CXK,
into one of those unexpected but very welcome storylines. The underdogs of
বুঝে
this
চারটা প্লেয়ার এক রুমে
competition
দেখছো
versus the
ভাই
underdogs of Thailand. Core memory, one of
আবার
the
জোনে
better performers.
যাবে।
I would say one of their best performance so far in the group
ওদের
stage.
একটা এই
Dragon are down
DRG
one
র একটা
man, and
দেখো
that is
ঘরে
something that Core memory can work with. But as the siren sounds for the last
DRG
time,
যদি
Core
বাইরে
memory
যায় না,
takes a
অনেক
shot
খুশি
in
আমি।
the back. Remind
DRG
has
দাঁড়ান,
all their
Dragon
eye, has all of them
দাঁড়ান।
confirmed. Let's see if Dragon can close this
সজীব
out.
ভাই
You
আসছে,
hear
আসসালামু
those
আলাইকুম।
drums of liberation in the background, gearing us up for a solid Booyah. Who takes it?
বাইরে কি করতেছে রে?
Thailand?
উপর
Or
বুঝা।
are we gonna see
ডাবল
Emil
স্টেপে চায় নাকি
walk away
সিঙ্গেল?
with a solid Booyah? Ray's in trouble. The players
হ্যাঁ,
surround him.
DRG এটা।
M590, he's
go.
hanging on for his dear life. And will tag the blue. Emil
আরে।
doesn't catch.
Yeah.
Simons finds him. But that all
A
four
revive.
sacrifices a little bit of
Evo's
health.
শেষ।
কেমনে
And
বাইতে
I did not
আছে? Evo's
expect
কেমনে
a
বাইতে
revive to
আছে?
come out of nowhere. But now Cougar and squad wrapping on in, waiting
Bye,
for the
bye,
circle
bye.
to drag Dragons
Yes.
towards themselves.
DRG
This revive most likely will just be a
revive দিছে,
distraction
DRG
at most.
revive দিছে।
Seafood taking plenty of damage from Core memory.
আটজন বাকি, আটজন বাকি।
At least for
CX.
Dragon Esports, there is an X factor. Don finds Yasir, and that is the guy that just got brought back. They get vision.
Ah,
Remind
STBD,
can see it, but
STBD,
cannot
কিন্তু আজকে তো
fire.
আজকে
Down
খেলবে
to
না।
a 3v4. Asimov now.
আরএসকে কালকে ওরে নো 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 নো
Shot, but
ওদের একটা
Zenzi
প্ল্যান
instantly finds the trade, and Remind left all alone, and you cannot do
আরে
it. Core
এমন
memory
লাগলো না ওটাই
puts
না।
it in. First booyah for the team.
Core memory with the solid plays. But props to Dragon Esports, man.
Allah.
Out of nowhere, the underdogs getting it done. This was one of the hardest underdog circles we've seen so far.
We almost were about to witness a Group C takeover for day number 2, but thank goodness Vitality stepped up in the previous game and then Core Memory, but it still does not take away the fact that Group C came in swinging. Dragons Esports, good round 1, game 2 and game 3, not the best, but game 4 was another opportunity to show them that the Middle Eastern region are constantly evolving.
And Core Memory so close to that number 1 spot already, putting in enough work, solid number of points as well. I believe 12 eliminations they walked away with in that matchup towards the very end, and that's the kind of performance you want to be chugging out in these lobbies. You don't need to aim guys all the time. You just want to have more than 10 eliminations, get to that final circle, and you're pretty much good enough to get your squad into point rush. That was a valiant effort turned into a solid booyah.
And at the end of the day, it depends on the perspective of the players. How do you want to finish the knockout stage? Do you want to finish in the lead and make a statement piece right off the bat? Or do you just want to do the minimum, make it through to point rush, and then start showing all your cards? And I think in this case, teams like Corsair and Dragon Esports are looking at the latter, but teams like BRU, Core Memory, they're looking to instantly tell the world that they are here to take the trophy away. And if you don't step up, you will not stand a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this was a shocker for everyone, no doubt whatsoever. But Lost kind of losing that opportunity a tad bit late. But of course, we've got Yunso out there with an interview set up for us. Let's see exactly who she's got with her.
All right then, thank you AJ and Husky, and here's our little interview of our Kuga here. สวัสดีค่ะ Kuga โอเคค่ะเป็นยังไงบ้างอะอะไรนะเป็นยังไงบ้าง
ก็เป็นยังไงบ้างครับดีใจครับที่เปิดเวลาได้ก็โฟกัสเข้ารอบชิงครับ
So we are pretty happy and excited that we are finally be able to do to get the first booyah, and from now on we're gonna focus on getting to the championship.
Oh, that's really good to hear. Okay, Cougar. So how do you feel about when your team we are having a change of a player named Ston? How do you feel about him? Does it make a huge difference in our game?
ก็ในทีมมีเปลี่ยนเพลเยอร์มา1คนใช่ไหมฮะคิดว่าผู้เล่นที่เข้ามาใหม่เนี่ยฮะมีผลต่อรูปแบบการเล่นหรือว่ามีผลต่อผลลัพธ์ในการเล่นแต่ละรอบไหมครับ
มีครับก็เป็นอินเกมครับพี่ดนก็มีผลเยอะมากเลยครับคอยสั่งพวกผม
Actually, there's quite a huge effect from the new player that just joined our team. He's kind of like our new IGL and like keep giving us the order what we have to do if there is an urgent situation happen during the games.
That's really good to hear because I also find that there's a different thing about Core Memory that is done and they make a huge difference. So good luck in your next game, Cougar. Fighting, Susuna. And now let's throw to our break. But first, we will give you a final blow.
Triple kill.
Ore.
আরে বিআরইউর মশি ভাই একলা ফুল স্কট খায় জানো
Triple kill.
ডেঞ্জারাস প্লেয়ার
এখানে সবগুলো ডেঞ্জারাস প্লেয়ার
Double kill.
মশি স্নাইপার প্লেয়ার না মাত্র ফুল অ্যাটাক স্কোয়াড খাইছিল
Triple kill.
ইজে ম্যাচ হইলো ভাই
মানা বলছি তো খুলে এখন কোন ম্যাপে গো
everybody, it's you. Hello everybody, all of my survivors in Free Fire. As you guys know, in Boulevard we have so many fun activities, having good foods to enjoy. All of the best thing in this life in Esports is waiting for all of you. But today, I'm right here at this very futuristic place, beautiful place. How do I call it? Aramco Sim Arena. Right next to me is a simulator racing gaming. I really want to try it, but I'm wearing a dress, but who cares anyway, right? So I'm gonna first try my... Alright, headphone please. Oh. Alright, gonna start my game now.
Oh, game খেলবো.
Nice, thank you. Kalma. 7 orang.
Woi, kita lari. Kanan. Kanan aja ke sini. 100. Ini gas yang dekat.
Sekarat banget. Supernya sekarat, kenok supernya.
Ini satu orang mau super. Gas aja, nah satu lagi.
Woi, kalem boys.
Biarin.
Boy, let's go boy. Ada pais.
Aman.
Ingat,
suntik.
Iya, santai.
Itu, lospet orang tuh.
Ingat guys.
Karat.
Gua nggak ada kepal.
Kanan dapat. Kanan 2, kiri 1.
Iya.
Kanan ini enggak sih?
Hujan dulu, santai.
Gua ada kepal gua.
Ada pais.
Sekarang. Gas.
Shoot limiter dia.
কি বলে?
Satu lagi guys. Shoot limiter dia aja.
Bisa pegang gua aja.
Dah,
mati.
Bisa pegang. Nah,
bisa coba pegang.
Bisa dua-duanya bisa.
Lu pegang aja. Iya, gua pegang.
Cucuin guys.
Sini. Oh ya kita. Gua ada kepala. Ayo, kepala. Sini, let go.
Bukan. Bareng, ingat. Bareng, let's go. Satu hit.
Zubair.
Asih bolu.
Clear.
Kalian lagi pada ngapain sih?
Memory have created their first memory here at EWC, grabbing their first booyah on Alpine of all maps, and of course they're going to be feeling fantastic about that booyah. Back to the panel, our panelists, pretty surprised actually, because it was a pretty tense showdown during that final circle. We had 3 teams, right? We had EVOS with their lone player, we had Core Memory, who are basically the raid bosses, and then we had Dragons. I think a lot of people were cheering for Dragons to win that, but Core Memory, ultimately, they just played better.
Yeah, and Core Memory, they are really good at fights. I mean, they are mechanically good, but I think they weren't just not that adapted. I don't know, I don't feel that, because yesterday they played, I mean, it wasn't like a very good game, but now they can grab like the booyah, which is really cool. But I think it's good to add about Buriram, which is a team that we usually see like getting booyahs and eliminations, and right now, I don't know, I feel that they are kind of missed. I don't know what's going on, but they kind of disappeared after, I don't know, the second match maybe.
Yeah, I do agree. It seems like Real United is slowing down, but speaking of disappearance, like from the start of that match of Alpine, we had 3 teams who were in the top. R7 lost as well as Fluxo, but they disappeared a little bit too early. So.
Yeah, this was kind of sad. I think it was something personal with us, with our Brazilian teams, and I'm pretty sad too for like Alpha 34, because they're not clocking. They can play. I don't know what's going on, and I think in this situation they won't pass to the point rush, so it's pretty sad. But we still have like Lost and Fluxo, and I think this was just an untypically match, and they can be like more stronger right now to the next one.
Well, we do still have a couple opportunities left. We've played 4 games today, meaning we've still got 2 more to go. And next Terra, is our next
Yeah,
map.
but
Now,
that's
Raja,
right.
typically, okay, in a typical day, how would you rate the Brazilian teams on Nextera? Is this a map that the region is quite comfortable playing?
Fluxo is really good at Nextera. It's like one of the best maps for them to play. So I'm feeling really confident about it. And I think Los can do a great job because they are doing a great job in the whole broadcast today. In my opinion, it's one of the best teams for today. Like, they are being really consistent, and I mean, they have a really good synergy, and they have like they have a Rigby, which is the top 3 rusher in Brazil, and that's so important because we need that, and we know how Asian teams are good, so we need someone that, I mean, bring confidence to the team, and I think Rigby can do that job really well.
Statsman Neptune, pull up the stats of Fluxo. What are we expecting for them from Neptune? From Nextera.
For Nextera, currently out of the 6 teams that have played here from their group, so they are tied with Core Memory in this specific map from yesterday. But I guess with the motivation or momentum that Core Memory has, they can easily overshadow Fluxo at this point unless they really come for revenge. Like being taken out a little bit early, that's something that the Brazilians really want to get away from.
And maybe they can speed things up a little bit, right? We're down to our last 2 games, and I think if you realize what position you are in on the leaderboard, you kind of want to make these last 2 rounds count, so you feel comfortable knowing that, okay, we are not at risk of dipping below top 12, because folks, top 12 is the first goal here for the knockout stage. If you don't make top 12, you're out of the competition.
Yeah, and I have something to add about Fluxo. Yesterday they played with like 3 rushers, 3 rush players, and today probably they will do the same because the landing drop where they block in Nextera, it's like a place where like Asians likes to play too. So I don't know how to explain for you guys, but I think they will play Nextera with like 3 rush players, and they will put procs to join into this match.
Yeah, that does make sense, because if they played already, procs is already introduced yesterday, so I guess with the rush build that Fluxo has, they can easily start it off on that hot drop and then play slow once again. So compared to what we seen yesterday, first 2 match always slow for Fluxo, so like hyping it up, like moving a little bit faster, and well, let's admit it, last 2 games it's clutch time.
Last 2 games is clutch time, but is it clutch time for any other teams? Because we kind of did focus on Fluxo here. Any Asian teams that are really going to want to play well on Nextera here?
Yeah, I mean, for Southeast Asia, I think there's a lot more. Team Vitality grabbed a booyah from yesterday in this map, so I guess they can do a repeat, but it's still a tough call. Group C has been introduced, and we've seen a lot of hot teams.
I'm kind of missing Vitality, but I know that they played good. I think I can't remember the number of the match, but I mean, I think they went so much better yesterday. I don't know, but maybe it's because this group is, I mean, Group C, it's like stronger, so maybe they are not adapted to it, you know?
That, and maybe the fact that Group C probably studied Group B, right? I think this was something that we talked about earlier in the broadcast. Being Group B, you had that disadvantage of, oh, we can research this team before we play them tomorrow. So Group C having that slight advantage makes it a little bit difficult. We are getting ready for our next matchup, folks, but before that, though, we actually have our SMB head-to-head. So let's head on over to the stage and see what the head-to-head is all about.
What's up, everybody? The SMB head-to-head. Hey, whoa. No,
sorry about that.
You don't do that. You don't do that here. We do not get these smudges because these teams are working far too hard. And maybe this time around they can change it up here. My name's Getting Cute. This is Tash Bunny. We're here at the stage. Tash Bunny, I heard that you got a team that you're interested in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Ever since Raja was completely glazing them on the desk, Lost has completely stolen my heart.
dure
They're
te
a team
cover
that's
de.
really surprised me today
Bacha
with
ek
not
mara ta
only
bana
just those insane booyahs, those insane frags, but also they have the general.
The general, of course, he's looking to lead this team to the next generation of Free Fire. But for me, I'm a little more interested in a team who has a fan base from Vitality, a team, and all their members. Give it up in no prize. Give me some noise.
Subscriber Riyad bhai,
They're here to show that they are the best. An Indonesian team picked up by a great organization, and now it's the second half of the day. We saw map 1, we saw map 2, but it's time to go on over to map number 5. We'll throw it over to our casters.
Thank you very much to Gideon, Tash, and the rest of the panel, Raja, Neptune, Danali. It's Husky and Natasha AJ back once more.
Acha,
erpor
arekta match
definition
ache.
is the endurance to finish a run. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but for Vitality, it's the final 2 laps for the knockout stage run. Let's hop into next era for round number 5.
কারণ এখন মনে হয় নেক্সট এর না কি জানি কালো হারি না কোন এলপাইন এখন
top 3 rate and
next but Alpine era গেছিল
make sure that you're in the top 12 if you're not
Oh,
just
আবার
aiming
হবে
for the
Alpine।
number 1 spot. Overall, they've got the 3rd spot.
এরপরে ম্যাচে আবার এলপাইন নিব তারপর লাস্টে সোলারা
Make it through to point rush, but of course another Indonesian squad is Onyx. They haven't been showing up so far. They are the champions of Southeast Asia, one of the first to make this miracle of champion rush look so effective out there. We want to see more from them.
So far, it has been a nightmare relived by Onyx. Last year, they came into EWC, their debut, and they completely dropped the ball. But right now, still early to say, I'm going to defend these boys a little bit. It's their day 1. We'll see what they can bring us, right? They dropped at Twin Bridge and Mortar Ruins, no contention. I'm surprised that Fluxo decided to shift away from Intellect Center because 2 years ago, it was Intellect Center that got 3 out of the 4 players a FFWS Global Championship in 2023.
And an early shoot down here by the players of EVOS.
R7
down on the ground. He did manage to go in here for a 1v2 clutch earlier on, but that was thanks to the XM8 now stepping outside of his Della serves it up hot as well. Headshot to Ray, down on the ground, and Della now buys the squad a tad bit more time. For that revival, Joker is still in here. R7 is not down and out just yet.
You got to give him credits for the utilization of the time turner. Right now, it lasts longer. It is more durable. You see the footwork, the bob and weave in and out to get the knock onto Ray, but unfortunately for him, it was a 2v1. EVOS getting 3 head start points just like that. R7 still in it. He's still very early on, but it's more like where do you pick, right? The place that they drop with the revive are all occupied. Plaza Ria by EVOS, Deca Square by Hotshot. The revive continue to come through, but as we talk about EVOS, Joker might make contact with Aim God.
Yeah, but the revival was already there, but now lost. Preying on the players off.
lost.
One after the other.
Flux সাথে না lost
No way.
Flux 3টা player
Final survivor quest.
Flux শেষ
None of them at all. Down in the dumps. And Lost showing who's boss very early on here.
Bested them locally and now besting them on the world stage. This is a catastrophe for Fluxo. They will have time to think about it because R7 Joker just found Aim God isolated on top of the roof. R7 clocks in their first point of this round.
Absolutely phenomenal here for R7 when it comes to the recovery play. Joker goes down, but he's already bought that lifeline for the rest of his team members. Games King now just chilling by a vending machine in case things do go south for the squad once again. But I don't think he's going to take on a full-on fight with the rest of the EVOS squad, who have to thank R7 for 4 free points. Now Hasu running out in the open. Hotshots, let's talk about them now, because Hotshots, this has been one of their most phenomenal appearances on the world stage. Pakistan might just make it through to the finals this time round.
All they need to do is to play the last 2 rounds, make it to top 3, top 4 if they can. But the chances are slightly dwindling a little bit. Anas not able to get any collection, and he goes down. Hotshot left on the last legs, and unfortunately, that's going to be Sajid RQ hunting him down. This could be that terminus for Harsha. This could be where they fall short once more.
Some back and forth
Only
off screen
তিনটা
here
player
between
শেষ
Dragons and
আই
Onyx.
হাই
Onyx
ড্রাগনস এর
losing 3
শেষ
players already. Dragon, it's a 1v1
তিনটা
between Onyx and Dragon. We need
ভাই
to
আমি
check
বলি
that out.
হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ
Seabox
এত
down
বাজে
on the
খেলছে
ground.
আর ভালো লাগে না
And Dragons eliminated by Onyx Esports off screen.
হোয়াটসঅ্যাপের
A tad bit
দুইটা
unfortunate
প্লেয়ার
for the
রিয়ার দিয়ে
EMEA
দিচ্ছে
squad, but we were talking about how Onyx is lingering
Dragon
at the bottom
Allah,
of the
dia
leaderboard
শেষ।
performance today, and that is not a good spot for them to be.
প্রথম ম্যাচেই ভালো
They
খেলতে
try to
পারছে
square crawl their way out of there. Let's see if or not Alpha will be able to show us a tad bit of performance going up against RRQ. Alpha 590 delivered.
Alpha needs to deliver a couple points. They are in a very precarious position on the leaderboard. RRQ not only having to deal with Alpha, they try to spread up, but Alpha has all the exits covered. 2 points for them.
ওরে ভাই রে ভাই কোন টিম কখন কি খেলে দেয়
Slowly but surely revives their players one after the other. Alpha putting RRQ on the back foot, but it's not going to be a total shutdown just yet. 2 teams eliminated. Surprisingly, Fluke saw one of them, but an early exit means nothing to a team that has picked up more than 100 points so far on the overall leaderboard from 2 days' performance. That should be enough to tip them over into point rush. But of course, we want to see more.
কিরে ভাই তোর মুখ এরকম
I personally think 120 is more than enough. It won't give you first place, but it will most likely guarantee you point rush unless the competition continues to deliver unexpected results. We have seen over time and it's still delivering. Multiple bodies dropped, multiple lives resurrected on that feed. Once more vitality now starts across the building. Core memory sitting on the second and third floor.
Especially with the current meta where rebuys are so much more possible with the coin machines littered all around the battlefield. You've got the Thiba combination in there as well for those instant pickups, and you just have so much of viability to go in for that huge reset. So we've seen some teams get massive points, and Nextera is one of those maps where you can really farm those elimination points. Thus far, EVOS as well as Lost have been onto it. 7 eliminations each as we spot out Della. What a player, man. This guy could just be the clutch god of this season.
Yeah, I think he has a very good chance of once more staking his name. I mean, we've seen him plenty of times. You know, Della, or Soy Della as you know him, regardless. Coming into this as well, I think if you are a team like Vitality or Core Memory, you are also looking to make a statement piece. We just saw someone from Harsha getting knocked down, but Harsha's survival run still continues. Not sure how good it's going to look though. BRU crossing past with them, and Hasu is going to brush shoulders with Vitality once more.
Towards the area of Farmtopia, gets a square, and once again, great read by these pro players. He tagged it earlier, but Buriram kind of playing it slow as usual. Just kind of laying low on the outskirts here at Turbine.
Yuta আমার নাম
quick highlight as well.
টিমের নাম
Nobody has
দিবি
been able to rip away the #1 spot from this wonder kid, 16 years old.
টিমের নাম না আমার নামই থাকবো ইউতা
With the way he plays his games out there.
তুমি তোমার নাম দিয়ে খেলবা টিমের নাম দিবা দরকার হলে আমার টিমের নাম
regardless of whatever region we're looking at, but these kids,
SHAHEE
these up and coming stars, they come in with such a big bang that it almost feels like a miracle every now and then. It's a seasonal thing. Oscar breaks the blue, 18 Deer gets a run down, the 5th point for AF.
Yeah, valiant dash indeed. And of course, the
Double
sacrificial
sniper.
lamb right in front of him, Alpha 34.
Double
Of course,
sniper.
very easy to get that done when your opponent
আচ্ছা আমার আইডিয়া আসছে তো জুবাইর
You've got the rest of your squad backing you up. Oscar is just a double-edged sword. But of course, we saw it on day number 1. That mad bum rush into factory where 4 players got knocked down to the ground. That was phenomenal. I want to see one more.
Hot shot re emon dia দিতেছে
Plenty of Oscars in this lobby, that is for sure. Harsha really coming down to just pure survival instincts, the will to fight on, because they have not been able to get anything done. It's not of their own actions, it's just the unfortunate circumstances, the reality that they kept running into different teams.
Oh, beautiful.
And now rest onto the shoulders of Hasu. Does he take a gamble on this point? Seems like he will opt for the safer route. Museum is the next closest point with a vending machine.
It's a very interesting plan here by Hasu. He could have stuck the full squad revival here with that revival platform. Like I said, head on over to Museum, find a vending machine to bring his squad back in here. We'll check in with Hot Shots in a little bit. For the time being, though, This might just turn out to be
বুড়িরাম আর
utter
ইভোসের
chaos.
হইব ভাই
Buriram, Evos,
তিনটা
Core
স্কোয়াড
Memory,
এক
all in a tight little spot waiting for that next circle to
Core
approach
memory
them
ওইদিকে
at Plazaria.
Not only that,
আর 7 এর দেখো দেখো যোগ
occupied by Onyx, they scanned out
শুনো
Vitality and they
ইভোস
took
হলো
the
ইভোস হলো
follow
বেস্ট
too.
একটা
So that fight might break out between these two
Pura
Indonesian
one-tapped.
rivals. Another revive spree for Hot
Hashu.
Shot. So they are going to be back in the game, but time is going to start ticking pretty fast. Nando 9
ইভোস দেখো ম্যাচটা বুঝা করবে
taking
দেখো
out the members of Alpha 34, a quad, and a fifth for Aone. He's just way too good. Basically locked in, and LOS lost 10 eliminations.
Oh, Raone with 5 eliminations so far. SVD in hand, unstoppable with that rate of fire and damage. Red B rocking the same gun as well. They're going to be pretty deadly from those long range shots. You definitely need those in Nextera because you've got a lot of these compounds where teams are going to be hiding away at only peeking from that window, and you want to be ready to take those accurate shots straight to the head. So we know R7 is ready for that final circle play this time around. They've got the combinations of that M590 as well. Once again, highlight to not one but two players from EWOS Esports, both Rasya and Ray dominating with the damage.
And this is going to be crunch time. And look at Hotshot's position once more, completely separated. Full revive finally completed. But they are going to come in basically naked with minimum to work with. So let's see if that willpower is going to get them through. Again, top 4 is the best position just for placement itself, but with where Saji dropped, he's probably going to be fed instantly. Rasya picks up a freebie for himself, but it's nothing much that Hotshot can do.
Interesting move here by Hotshots. First of all, Hasu succeeds with the full squad revival off of the outer circle revival at Museum. 3 players back in here, and instead of dropping into one spot, they have now spread out onto the battlefield looking for the placement point. I think Pakistan has got the right strategy. They just need to inch on forward game after game, not looking for the booyah. This is a smart play for Hotshots.
This is the best course of action. Hasu even finding a vehicle to facilitate that rotation. He has finally escaped the blue just in time before the blue really start to do some serious long-term damage. Polygon being dropped down by R7. This could be a big jump. They're going to take it right now on 3 of them. The transport will be completed on top of the roof. Vitality on one side and Onyx on the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see some teams not forgetting the fact that the Polygon still exists. They are a tad bit expensive, but all the coin machines are littered everywhere on the battlefield. Arsenal making good use of them. A clear rotation round, find the roof, and now they are in prime position to play this next circle. But of course, when it shrinks a little bit more though, R7 is going to have a very, very big advantage here. So those are once again big brain plays from them. But up against 2 Indonesian squads, Onyx and Vitality, this is going to be difficult.
Vitality just spotted out Hasu. So he's going to be taken down. If you're action right now, I think Hasu needs to make the call action. Just stay still. Don't even let them hear you breathe. It's you and Anas at this point. There's no more shots for any revival at this point. Aside from feeding free points to the opponents, but thankfully, Gigabyte will just join Plazaria, and this could be a distraction that Hotshot can utilize to get deeper into the run.
Absolutely.
ওরা কয়বার যে রিভাইভ দিছে
At this point of time, if they get eliminated,
কোনরকম হইতাছে না
with one placement, 2 other squads to drop out their first loss is helping them out by shutting down player after player from Alpha 34. The boys still hanging on for their dear lives. Next circle. Does R7 get the read accurately here? Or does Buriram, Core Memory, and EVOS find the next circle? Neither one. In a beautiful spot for the circle as well. We've got a little bit of a half and half with a decent compound to work with at Plazaria as well.
I would like to believe that RQ also scanned out the northern side because that dynamic pinged out 12 players. But the baton is going to be passed from action to Anas, who is the closest person to the circle at Plazaria. Another big scan. I think this one most likely is going to be by RQ by Lost.
Alpha player
in the radar, 5 members being pinged instead of 4, and Lost has 13 eliminations.
I can't believe Anas is still shooting at players at this point of time because Hotshots really just needs to stay calm and not show up on the map at all. Play those placement points because we thought Alpha was about to get taken down, but they're hanging on for their dear lives here. R7 is still alive and kicking on the side of Alpha 34. And he finds action on top of everything else as well. Big play by Alpha, big play by R7.
Nothing much that he can do. As Alpha 34 getting wiped out. It's all down to Anas. First to go down in the round, but now last to stand. Zarasia finds another knock. This one is a big hit onto Moshi. BRU tasting the wrath of two different regions in a single go. R7 Onyx. The glue wall will not stand for long. R7 starting to bombard the compound.
Well, fantastic glue wall erected here by Onyx, just bouncing off all of those grenades. R7 doesn't get to nick away a couple of extra lives here, and now they're out of the open, battling up against the circle. But EVOS out of the window, straight into the firing squad of Nando 9, taking good advantage with their high ground action. Hotshot out in
Hotshot
nine, not enough placement points for them, but we'll have to see what they do in game number 6. In the meantime, EVOS desperately trying to break down the defense as they set up. Go on to put it up.
And EVOS needs to take down Wasana. Need to eliminate this party and actually turn it all around on his heel. Ray desperately trying to bring it around the room. Vitality tries to fight, and EVOS, they didn't want this to happen, but Vitality do not care. Wasana finds a second chance as the blue continues to be put up, but the blue is closing in. Vitality needs to break through.
Beautiful stuff from Buriram. Wasana hanging on for his dear life, but unfortunately for him, it will come to an end as well. Ray finding him in 590. R7 now outside the circle, but the zone moves straight towards them. This is going to be a huge advantage. They need to break the walls well. Commentary going to be keeping Vitality a tad bit busy now.
Very good shot of stopping a back-to-back for Call Memory and getting a second. Really stuck on the second floor. They need to jump off the ledge. The time
eliminated.
Gets eliminated off screen. Call Memory now takes the fight to Vitality. Cougar with the Oscar. Makes it to the back line, turns around, but Koja is ready to accept the challenge, the interception.
কোন টিম নিব ভাই তারা অনেকের চারটা প্লেয়ার এখনো বেঁচে আছে এলিমিনেট গেছে কে ভাইটালিটি শেষ ভাই ভাই কি হচ্ছে কোর মেমোরির কয়টা প্লেয়ার
The circle gets the rest of the job done. Jump unfortunately is not going to be able to save his buddy. Has got that Superman in hand. Memory finds a little bit of space to recover.
What a rotation in launch pad. Games King survives, but Joker gets picked up by Loki. The only Malaysian representative in the first ever Malaysian export. He gets traded back. Games King is not going to let that slide, but Onyx, they're still holding on pretty well with a compound to work with. Jump lays down the launch pad. Onyx getting himself up, but maybe Jump needs to take this leap of faith. And Abai, he sees it. And there's nothing left for Core Memory.
Yeah, just shooting them out of the sky. RRQ, sharpshooters indeed. Now two Indonesians above each other, looking to take the heads of R7.
একটা টিম বেশি বুয়া নিলে কিন্তু এটা
be able to oust whatever the Indonesians bring to the
এখন
table.
আলাদা আলাদা টিম বুয়া নিবে
Do a little bit of damage to each other first before interfering in this fight.
সবগুলার স্কোর বেড়ে যাবে
Move first when that circle starts to close in 15 seconds.
They will have to make the first move, just like you said. If they don't want to, it will be forced through circumstances. Final siren blast. Final confrontation. Is this an Onyx
ম্যাচ কয়টা গেছে এই যে পাঁচটা ম্যাচ চলতেছে পাঁচ নাম্বার এরপর আরেকটা ম্যাচ বাই 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 অনেক নিয়ে নিব না শেষ অনেক শেষ অনেক শেষ R7 এর তিনটা
might have just given this round away. And
R7 নিয়ে নিব R7 RRQ এর একটা প্লেয়ার আছে
R7 taking advantage of the infighting between the Indonesians. And now Abe in a 1v3. He's got the right gun. He's got the M5.
R7 এর তো মনে হয় প্রথম বুইয়া এটা না
But R7 playing it
smart.
One great big mistake. Can he continue in a 2v1? Abe only fights a knock and R7.
আমি ভাবছি নিয়ে নিব একলা নিচে একটা কি নিচে
And once more a region that is
R7 মুভি স্টার নিয়ে নিয়েছে আর আজকে কালকে যদি দুইটা বুইয়া করতে না পারে পারবো না অনেক
RQ and Onyx, they had a shot, but Onyx got impatient. They took the fight to RQ, they rolled the dice, but unfortunately, it was not a perfect 20. It was a horrendous #1 roll, and RQ Abai left to pick up the pieces. The Wonder Kid can only do so much for Indonesia.
Yeah, a couple of teams faltering
আজকে আরএসকের খেলা নাই কালকে ছিল আরএসকের খেলা কালকে
out with nothing in that round. Buriram only managed to pick up 4 points. This was a big game, and Movistar R7 proving exactly who the stars are out there. Mexico trying to make
কালকে হবে যে আরএসকের খেলা
they sure as hell are doing a good job at it.
কি রে এটা কি ওদের সমস্যা নাকি
2024 compared to this 1 year ago, we already have a lot more unique teams getting a booyah, and that's just on the second day. Really speaks volumes of how this esports, this title has evolved over the years. The format changes. Movistar R7 was that they needed to make the first move. By circumstance alone, they are at a disadvantage. But the patience rewards those who wait. It's a virtue for Movistar R7.
Hey, Movistar R7 has
অনেকের 4টা প্লেয়ার বেঁচে ছিল 4টা তাও নিতে পারেনি ভাই গেমের কোনো বিশ্বাস নেই দেখ আর আর কি ওরে ভাই ভাই আটকায় যা ভাই সব আটকায় যা
You guys get the panel once again.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
অবস্থা খারাপ
Breaking news.
Hola gente, soy Hax y le voy a preguntar al Joker, ¿cuál es tu arma favorita?
¿Mi arma favorita?
Sí.
La espada bulla.
We are getting so close to wrapping up here at Free Fire EWC 25, and we have seen so many teams pick up booyahs today. It hasn't been a case of 1 to 2 teams dominating the leaderboard. It has been spread pretty evenly in the grouping so far for Group B and C. Gideon, I know you have a lot to talk about this. What is it just a case of everyone being equally skilled? Like, what's kind of happened today?
I think that is a very good point. It is the case of not only people being very skilled, but also adaptable strategies that can be templated again and again and again and evolving as the regular season goes on, coming into the international tournaments. I think for now, when we're looking at these match rankings, tell me, is it not clear that the East and West battle, everybody is looking for the top, not one side is lopsided or stronger than the other.
Position point by
I love as well the difference in terms of points on those in the left-hand side. It's not too much. It's not top heavy compared to what we've seen yesterday's game. So I guess this is where really when you talk about skills, everyone is skilled in this fight. And thus, the booyah is being taken by different teams.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys, and I would like to add that I told you guys that this will happen. So R7, it's so capable. I mean, to go to the point rush, and some people normally, I mean, they usually think that LATAM teams, they are not strong enough, but R7, it's like the best team from LATAM so far, and they are so good. I'm so proud of them too, because I don't know, I was kind of cheering for them. So yeah, it was such an amazing job.
Amazing job for them. Also, probably, I want to say maybe small factor, we had a bit of a mishap happening in that final circle. In particular, a certain boxing situation, which, okay, was that an accident, or do you guys feel like in the heat of the moment, it seemed like the right play to try and pick up your teammates, but then you're kind of setting your team up to get picked off?
Well, I mean, let's look at these highlights, right? I think it's probably going to show up here pretty soon, sooner or later. But yes, Onyx, unfortunately, coming up a little short-handed. I would say yes, it is a little bit of a missight because it's not a team effort's mistake. It is one person's mistake. They understood that potentially we could get surrounded, potentially we were going to get attacked. But by the time they noticed that R7 was actually on the ledge above, and unfortunately one of the members of RRQ who slipped away, which Onyx was the only one aware of it. R7 did not know that one of the members of RRQ had slipped away in the middle of that fight.
Yeah, he did try to fight towards the end. Managed to go for the knock, but it's just a 1v4.
Ryzen Discord
the reason why, I'm thinking reason why they Onyx Olympus boxed themselves in, because we're talking about Nextera. We do have a boxing gym right here, so.
I was kind of missing RRQ because they were kind of, I don't know, I feel that they just disappeared in a moment during the matches, but when they were in the global finals in Brazil, they were like really good, so I was kind of missing them, and they showed to us like a good game, but at least R7, sorry, just got the booyah.
I mean, R7, they deserve the booyah, especially when they made the right calls coming into that final circle. Unfortunately for the Indonesians, just falling a little bit too short this late into the tournament. Now, we are getting ready to jump into match number 6, and probably the most highly anticipated one on the panel, because yes, again, we are going to be going on to the new map, Solara. I want to start a discussion on this, because we did see the teams play on Solara yesterday, so we do... Okay, how do you feel this map is going to be for this matchup? Like, is it going to continue to be the X Factor map? Is maybe Group B gonna have an advantage because they played on that map yesterday? Group C haven't touched it yet. It's their first time playing on the map today.
I personally think that is going to be still rather chaotic overall. Vitality is still playing, and they've shown that they've actually have some sort of a strategy. I haven't cracked the code on it just yet, but I'll get back to you guys when I do. Overall, the fights have been good, and I've noticed first 3 maps pretty chill. Match total quite only a couple of teams will have double-digit numbers. Next 3 maps, we're seeing that. Keep in mind that very first page on the left side when you see those.
Last match, kintu RHK to kalke helche na aske na.
I mean, for this map specifically, for Solara, yesterday Team Vitality, the team who dubbed themselves King of Solara, has been denied.
Kalke bhalo korte hobe
team from yesterday coming into here has grabbed a booyah in this map, but
gameplay dekhle
Vitality is on the top. When we look at Group
Kire Black
I guess they would want to get that booyah and just put themselves up on the leaderboard.
Hey, Alifa screen ke black.
There's also the thing, right? Is Vitality maybe setting themselves up to be sniped, right? Like if you call yourself king, someone's going to challenge that crown.
আমরা ওই লবিতে গেলে রাজি
It could be like a Fluxo maybe, because I think they need to do like
আমরা এই লবিতে গেলে
right now, because 2 12 it's not what like the crowd in Brazil are kind of expecting, so it's not the result that we are
মানে এখন মনে হয় এই টিম জিতবে না, এখন মনে হয় আরেকটা টিম
So we do have the overall rankings on the screen for you folks at home, and this is just a bit of a status update. Okay, now keep in mind, a lot of the teams towards the upper end of the bracket, they are probably going to be Group B because they have played 2 days worth of matches. So do not panic. If you're cheering for teams in Group A and C, they still there are a couple teams in the danger zone. I believe Neptune here checking out the numbers just to double check, but at the moment for Group B, who is at risk of being knocked down?
Well, Alpha 34, definitely out of all the teams from Group B, mixed up with Group C, there's the ones like odd one out. Very close, 12 teams right now, and it's tough to call if they will be able to catch up. They're like second to the bottom. So
essentially, they need to booyah, is what you're saying.
I don't know if they'll be able to do it with just one booyah, because we were expecting at least 130 to keep yourself safe, and they're not there just yet.
Well, unfortunately, there's just not enough points to go around, so we'll have to let the teams fight it out and decide who is going to end the day with our last bag of points. But it looks like we're ready to jump into Solara, folks. So throwing it over to our casters right now. Husky and AJ, take it away for our final match of the night.
Thank you, Danny. Alpha 34 in trouble indeed, Mr. Neptune. They are down in the dumps at this point of time. 56 points in total. One final opportunity for this Brazilian squad to put a good amount of points up there on the leaderboard to stay in the game, to make it to Point Rush as well as the grand finals. But another team from Group B, Husky, you and I were just talking about them. Hot shots, 85 points so far. They need a minimum of 15. 100 points is the benchmark we've got for these boys to make it through to the finals.
Neptune said that 130 is the safest spot, but for hot shot, I think 100. And then you leave it up to the stars or the constellation or whatever you believe in out there. You know, if you're born in a, I don't know, like the rising sun, believe in themselves. Like, I'm pretty sure the Pakistani fans have been really riling up the chat. Them Red Hawks, you know, these passionate fans seeing their teams play, even though they are going up against the odds.
Fluxo versus Dragons Esports. EMEA's going for the big ones at the very get-go, and Fluxo has not been having a great day here. 40 points out of 5 games. This has been one of their weaker days, but of course, Fluxo has always done this. They always try to trick people into thinking that they're not top performers, only to grab the championship by the end of the day. But of course, EMEA is out there to impress, and they desperately need some points. But I don't know if Fluxo's the right team to be hitting down on, and they're definitely not the right ones.
It's important for Fluxo to recover, right? They got 2 rounds in a row they got nothing. But in this case, Alpha 34, they are here to play spoilers. Because realistically, Alpha 34 is not going to make it unless they break a world record in this round. But for hot shots, the conditions are so much easier, and this is going to decide all of it. And Saji is the first one to go down. Action needs to back up his team, but there is going to be member from behind, and Hisechi from behind. The backstab hot shot. This could be the end of the run for the Pakistani squad. Alpha 34 about to ruin a fairy tale for Hot Shot Esports, and they certainly have done it. Hot Shot Esports left with just Hasu and Action.
Alpha not out of the deep end of the waters just yet. Just when you thought they were going to get wiped out, Luan gets revived back in here. It's a 2v2. It's a fair game so far. And on that revival, Luan is flying far, far away. It's a 2v2. Hot shots can still get this done. And how beautiful, how poetic that the two teams we highlighted that desperately need some points will meet at the very first start here. Anas on the pickup, but R7 puts an end to that run. And Hot Shots, how unfortunate at the get-go here. The first squad to get eliminated.
R7, Alpha 34, they knew that they couldn't make it, and they drag Hot Shot down right into oblivion with them. What a heartbreaking way to go to end that run. But again, commendable effort from Hot Shot throughout the entire league. Pakistani, we will remember you. And they've definitely left an impression, but here we go. Continuing the story, the bout between Dragons Esports and Fluxo is not done just yet. But Remind is going to be done in by Bobs as he goes down.
Yep, Dragons are most definitely going to be reminded you do not mess with Fluxo. The Brazilians may seem like they're having a bad day, but they're just hanging back, chilling as usual. Lost on the other hand, coming across one of the most dangerous Indonesian squads out there, and the focus is going to be on that recovery, picking up their team members. RRQ Dudes pulling in those revives in the nick of time to keep the squad still in play.
Might be another clash on screen between BRU and Evos 2, right? As the northern side of Studio. Obviously, in this case, we see the ping, a Dinoculus. It could be from Evos or R7, but I'm willing to bet it's R7 that got the scan onto BRU. If Evo sees this coming, yeah, they're gonna just back off. We see them, R7, about to engage with BRU. Moji takes contact, almost goes down. Double glue wall to block off the engage, but Hacks and Games King find one for themselves. Get high, gets a response at the Games King, but unfortunately for R7, BRU is not here to go down without a fight. 2 versus 2. Evos now joins in. Joker takes a hit. Get High gets knocked down. Joker finds Aim God. He gets traded by Rasia. Della finishes off Get High. Both R7 and BRU BRU are crippled.
A surprising three-way battle here. R7 jumping on and into a fight where they most definitely did not want to look for more out of. And a 2v1 now. Della, clutch god. Can he walk away with something? Aim god himself says, hell no, Mustachio. We're here to play. And he had the meta gun M590 in his hands. And R7 just slowed down a tad bit here. It's not the end for the Movistar squad. We'll see more from them in a little bit. But EVOS back to their high-scoring ways.
And BRU, Wasana able to slip away into the shadows just now. In the midst of all the chaos, bringing Moshi back into the fray, keeping BRU alive in this run. We've lost two teams pretty early on. Hotshot Esports and R7 no longer part of the equation. But at least R7, at least for R7, they still have a chance tomorrow. 6 more rounds to work with. Vitality and Core Memory though, this is their last.
Pakistan, I know they are deeply disappointed that Hotshot Esports got eliminated too early here. But a little bit of a fun fact, last year at EWC 24 Hotshots, they managed to walk away with 80 points. This time they did slightly better, 87 points. But is that going to be enough to keep them in the top 12? We will see tomorrow. As Group B takes on Group C. This is the final game here for Group B. Group A takes on Group C tomorrow. The final game here for Group B, and unfortunately for Hotshots, their run comes to a tad bit of a premature end. And like you said, man, it's all up to the stars or whatever the fans believe in at this point of time to keep the squad in.
It's definitely one of those stories that they left an impression a lot more compared to last year, but almost the same ending. 1-7 runs down Ma'al. Again, RRQ just not having the start that they want. Early on, we see Abai getting taken down, getting brought back, and now Ma'al is the victim. And for Alpha 34, they know it's all for the marbles. They have nothing to lose. If what it takes to qualify is to break a world record, they might as well do it right now.
Absolutely, and this is the fire that we are talking about, right? Alpha 34 understanding exactly what is required, and they start things off hot. And as the stars aligned for them, they came across Hotshots who were vying for that spot with them as well. And they will find more players off of RRQ. One straggler, 18 Deer. The Drogon doesn't get to save him. As Ron finds him with the M590 yet again. The next circle, though, is going to be key for the reposition for a majority of the squads here, especially Lost, who may just come across Onyx, who wants to rotate far in towards that circle as well.
And with the circle closing in towards TV Tower, I think Alpha 34 instead makes a rotation. Early on, they scan out where RRQ members are at, but Alpha 34, they want more. Let's see if that greed pays off. One of 7 deadly sins is going to lead them straight into Vitality and Core Memory.
Yeah, Alpha 34, initially their rotations were solid, but now into troubled waters. We'll have to catch up with them in a bit. Outside the circle, we do spot the players of EVOS just chilling around, looking for that loot. Circle 2 doesn't hurt just yet, but in 20 seconds, Circle 3, that's where trouble will come. And this line rail is directly to Buriram. This does not seem like a fun pathing for the Indonesian squad.
I think you stop here, you rotate southbound. There is a vending machine to work with to stock up before you hit south again to Bloomtown. That is the optimal one, considering what we can see. But for the teams, let's see if they can make that educated guess. It is once more a dice roll in this case. They dropped the Dinoculus. EVOS actually scanned out where BRU are. All 4 members of BRU at Archway. So this could give them the confirmation that they need to go southbound. Unless EVOS feels a bit peckish and they want to take on a different squad.
Well, if they want a snack, you know exactly where to find that. And Solara is not one of the newest map out there. Not many teams have found full-on dominance here. Vitality calls themselves the kings of Solara. And in Southeast Asia, they most definitely have proven time and time again their capability to find dominance on this map. But thus far, no points on their side. Does not mean that they're not going to dominate this just yet, because they've been out of trouble, out of this competition. No glue walls, no medkits have been wasted so far, but they are in very, very close quarters here up against Core Memory, who's at the top of the leaderboard and perhaps a little bit hungry for those points, because this is their last game as well.
My heart stopped for Fluxo. They took so long to rotate. This could cost them big time. And And I think it's fair for us to, for me to at least say this, right? It's the last round of the knockout stage. Most likely will qualify. Raja, if you're listening, I gotta say, Fluxo, they have been a bit sloppy on this rotation. They're taking a bit too much of their sweet time. And a lot of times we see Fluxo, they make the rotation sure, but they lose like 60% of their health bar. They have to be a bit more efficient with those moves. And thankfully this time there was no team to really mess up that movement. So they make it through. They get a good Dinocular scan. They get a good compound to work with just a little bit. But if we make it to the point rush and Fluxo pulls this off, it is going to really bite them in the back.
What's crazy is the lowest bar that we had set was 100 points here. And they started off this game with 101. They've picked up 4 points now. They're sitting at 105. This is still a very risky zone for Fluxo. Can you imagine a world where they do not make it to point rush? That would be absolutely insane. And perhaps Dragons Esports could have a round 2 with Fluxo to stop them, perhaps gatekeep them as well. But this is going to be a crazy circle to enter, because whatever compound that is available for defense has already been occupied. You only have to deal with the outer ranges, which is just wide open range, where you will have to use up a lot of your glue walls very early on. Fluxo is in a ton of trouble, and Lost, I believe, is about to come across them as well.
And I just like that you brought up Lost, because this has been the kryptonite of Fluxo.
Yes.
Beat them in the domestic league, and right now might be the team to snuff them out once more. And I think Fluxo knows this. They saw 4 members, 4 hostiles across the horizon, and Lost.
They won it.
They're going to take the fight. Here they go. Are they going to make the call right now?
They send in Rigby first.
Top 3 rushes. Here we go. Electrotherapy. We see that from the Cassie. And
straight in.
The retire rhythm just for cautionary purposes. The glue walls put up. This is such great movement from Lost. They're trying to corral Fluxo, and now Lost finds a good spot. Again from above. Takes down GU.
Great plays with the RGS 50. And the LMG as well. Round 1 will wreck the opportunity of Fluxo. GU desperately trying to hold on here. 105 points. Is this going to be enough for Fluxo to hang on? Had a round picked up once again. And Fluxo on the other hand. Wiped with them. Could this be the end of the Brazilian champions?
Once more, the campeonas, La Campeonas of Brazil, Lost, showing what they are made of. Numero uno in the region, kryptonite of Fluxo, and a heroic play from Haone to set things up for the squad. Really showing that Vamos mindset from the region. Just sure cold-blooded engagement. Fluxo, like you said, AJ, they are in the red zone after this round.
Dude, I did not expect Fluxo to be in the red zone. Never would I have ever thought this is what we see out of your 2-time world champs. No aggression. I thought they were hanging back, but perhaps they played with fire a tad bit too much. Now they need to depend on Lady Luck. They need to count on the stars in the sky and wait for them to align. But I don't know if the universe will abide by what they want. But the circle is just teasing everyone at this point. It just goes straight directly towards Lost. And Lost has got the time in the world, all the time in the world, to play this recovery and wait for everybody else to approach them in the open grounds.
The one team that can stop them is Onyx, and Onyx are not going to wait. We saw Onyx in the previous round, they got impatient, that's why R7 walked away, but this time it could be different, as R7, FE Sechi from the side of AF, the different R7, runs into BRU, still bleeding out, and he can pick back out very quickly, has the blue to deal with Evo, also around the corner, BRU looking to run away, Ray wants to take down that member, but somehow couldn't land enough shots. Evo's now guards the perimeter of his compound, they have a good chance to pick up a couple of stragglers across the horizon. RRQ now is going to show up on the radar as Wasana takes out Liz. Is about to get messy.
Absolutely. R7 down on the ground, bleeding out. Alpha desperately needs those solid points. Whatever they can put on the table, they most desperately need it for themselves. But EVOS with the brilliant reposition on the jump pad, turning around, and Rasia of all players finding that long shot. And the first grenade elimination 13 minutes into the map is insane, but we see it out of EVOS.
I believe that Onyx just got wiped out, Alpha 34 as well. The story finally has this final chapter penned, a full stop for this squad, the underdogs of the Brazilian region. Out in the lobby, Kochu, just a point blank grenade launcher into 18 Dia's face.
Because of tournament.
Headlights, another elimination, 11 points for Evos as they continue to run into the safe zone, but they're getting shot at by Jonah. They're getting shot at by RQ. They're getting shot at by Vitality.
Onyx. Unfortunate for them.
To
put on more points on the leaderboard. They have to wait for tomorrow. Thankfully, they are in Group C. But Vitality, on the other hand, the ones that call themselves the Kings of Solara, finding a couple of points out there, getting those knocks, those crucial ones on top of everything else, looking for that high ground. But that should not be where you go, because the circle will not be in your favor. Core Memory finding their backs. A couple of glue walls that they erect, blocking out a shots as well. And that will play against them as Koja lobs in a phenomenal god nade.
Good exchange from Cougar to take him out. That's Koja now turns his attention over to Evos. Kill now joins the fray. Core Memory, they've laid low the entire game just to cash in on this moment, but it seems like it's not paying off so far. Retiring for Kochu to try and expose Vitality, but they have enough resources to stay alive as Jump ends the lifeline of Evos. Kochu gets knocked out in 6th place. Jump now turns over to Koja, but here comes the full rush from Vitality. Fire is on the red. Jump could not finish the job. Koja once more pulls through in the end as Lost shows himself on the trophy. Cougar goes down. It's down to 2 for Core Memory.
Vitality now dealing with the circle as well, but Lost taking advantage from the opposite side of the battlefield. Long range shots, and as anticipated, the circle going to move on to the flatter lower grounds. Koja with a mad rotation here right outside the circle, has to absorb some damage from the blue straight into the vehicle, but that was an insane play as Hawan puts him out of the race. Vitality eliminated in 5th.
Desperation move from the side of Vitality. 5th place is all they have. The jump pad left behind. The remnants of an opponent's lost a comeback shows his face. Rigby picks up that kill, a stolen point. Dragon Esports, they make their move as well. He's dead against Lost, taking the fight straight towards the Brazilian Kings. His Core Memory out in 4th. There's only 2 full squads left. Unfortunately, for the side of General, he gets knocked down. Bets MT60 joins in and takes out the rest of Dragon Esports. They'll clean up the rest of this, and unfortunately for Dragon, there's just not enough for them to stand toe-to-toe with Lost, and it's only RRQ with the last remnants of the members on the map, and there's nothing that Ma'au can do. Lost gets the booyah, and Lost once more proves why they are the Kings of the
Lost Brazil team ko 24 থেকে 12টা টিমে আর 12টা টিম দিয়ে নাকি হ্যাঁ 12টা টিম বাদ যাবে কালকে দেখা যাক বাংলাদেশ টিম কি করে এর মধ্যে একটা বাদ যাবে আর কে
flashbacks from last year when some of them were still with Netshoes minus GG. They almost made that Cinderella story happen. Not in the group stage, but in the grand finals. 2 back-to-back booyahs in round 4 and 5, only to fall in the Falcon's nest in round number 6. But then you look back, and now you look at some of them who survived the purge, who became members of Lost, winning domestically over Fluxo by a hair's inch, and right now,
তো তোমার আইডি তে পরে আছে খেলছিলা না খেলি না यार
for one of the best teams in the world.
এটা লাইভ দেখতাছি 7টাতে
has put themselves in a powerful spot.
They definitely see the EWC 24 Hanaral Nando 9 Ra 1 under minus GG, and they were the squad that stole everybody's hearts. They shocked the world with their performance. They were the underdogs for sure out of Brazil. Nobody expected them to make big plays, but big plays they sure as hell made. But now as Lost, they have found their way, and they are looking for sheer dominance. Last year it could have been the Falcons. Last year Thailand reigned supreme. This time Brazil looking to make quite a bit of noise out there.
And what a poetic way to say it as well. Lost, previously Los Grandes, literally translates to the big brother, the big team, and the big challenger, all the way from Brazil onto the Esports World Cup stage. And if there's one way for them to make everyone remember, and it's not through their name, it's through that gameplay.
Absolutely, man. I mean, some solid, phenomenal phenomenal action out there, and it wasn't as if they were tiptoeing around the circle, and they were not looking for fights at the same time. Whatever came their way, they made the best of it, and the first thing they made best of was finding Fluxo out in the open. Not only do they put a stop to them, they also increase their chances of dominating Point Rush as well as Grand Finals, because who knows them better than Fluxo? Who can probably put a stop to them and their rotations other than Fluxo? They are looking to take out one of their biggest threats out there, and as luck would just have it out here on the Solara map, they would encounter each other so early on, and Fluxo didn't manage to pull away those solid points. A huge miss for Fluxo, a phenomenal gain for Lost, and they just continue to pummel down squad after squad. We've got the interview on stage with a player of Lost. Let's head on over to Yunsol. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Welcome to the Amazon post-match interview. I'm Carol Bombshell, and we just finished the last match for the knockout stage, especially for Group B that won't play tomorrow anymore. And that's why we have to have a word with Fluxo team, and I'm here with Bobs, the team captain. Let's talk to him about the today performance for Fluxo. For sure, today was not your best day, and you guys have 2 top 12 finishers and a lot of ups and downs. Is there any specific reason to explain this performance today? Com certeza vocês não tiveram o melhor dia de vocês, tiveram muitos altos e baixos. Tem alguma razão para explicar sobre o que aconteceu hoje?
Na verdade, não sei muito o que falar, né? Jogamos muito mal ontem, jogamos muito mal hoje. Nesse campeonato não sei o que acontece, nós não conseguimos nos performar bem. E se passar vai ser, querendo ou não, vai ser sorte, mas se passar, vamos dar tudo na final, rever os nossos erros e ir bem na final, que é o nosso objetivo, ser campeão. Sonhamos com esse campeonato todos os dias, desde o ano passado. Não paramos um minuto de pensar nele sequer, mas infelizmente ocorreu como ocorreu hoje e também ontem, não foi o nosso melhor dia e foi uma atuação bem abaixo da nossa, então é isso.
There's not much to say. We know that this tournament is really important to us, but we did our best. Yesterday also was not our best day, our best performance, but we dream about AWC every day. And right now, if we go to the next stage, to the Point Rush and make to the finals, for sure we're gonna try to see what was our mistakes, and we'll for sure get better to play at the grand finals. And for our last question is about Los. Your fight against Los was definitely one of the toughest moments for you guys today. Do you think they have figured out what was your play style and now they know how to knock you down and take you out of the competition? Com certeza, as partidas contra Los foi um dos momentos mais altos do dia hoje. Eles também são um time brasileiro. Vocês acham que eles já sabem o estilo de jogo de vocês e é por isso que eles sabem como tirar vocês das partidas? Eles estudaram vocês?
Eu acho que todos os times estudam nós somos atuais campeões do mundo no FFWS, então todos os times chegam a estudar, mas sobre a Loz eu acho que foi pura coincidência, não tem como saber se era nós, então eles apenas estavam jogando o jogo deles e acabou que trombamos com eles 2 vezes morremos, infelizmente, então é mais desmérito nosso.
Alright. Good answer. Yes, for sure, Los, they know how we play, but most of teams here know how we play. We are the reigning champions of Free Fire world, global, and most of them know how right now we just need to focus on ourselves right now and pray that we are gonna advance to the next phase. Guys, today we have watched some high-level Free Fire action here, and I am more than happy to be here with you all. And right now, I'm more than happy to send to this next leader. They're gonna talk to you. They're gonna to do an interview. Yusu, it's all the stage. It's all yours.
Hi everyone, that's our Carol Bombshell, and this is our little conversations with Evos. Hi Evos.
Hello.
Hi Ray. Okay, so this is our second day and also our last competition day, right?
Yep.
Do you satisfied with the match today? How's everything going?
Jadi hari ini kamu merasa puas gak dengan total poin di 2 hari?
Nggak terlalu puas lah, karena kita masih banyak mistake yang kita lakuin.
He's not satisfied enough because there's so many mistakes that we did.
Oh yeah, but many mistakes, but you guys already make it to the point rush and the final stage, so I think you guys still have plenty of times to practice, so it's okay. Did a very good job already.
Thank
you. So our second questions, since you guys have a very good sniper, Razia. So do you think that he make a huge difference in your team? And do you think that with Razia, you guys can become the champion of AWC 2025?
Razia itu
sekarang di tim kita ada Rasya. Terus menurut kamu Rasya membuat impact yang sangat besar nggak di tim kita? Dan menurut kamu kita bisa dapat menang nggak di AWC 2025?
Menurutku
Golden Channel nih
impactnya besar lah ke tim karena di tim kita tuh nggak ada support kemarin.
আমাদের রাজিন RGB দিয়ে মেরে দিবে প্লে
Yes. On the last year, we got no support.
Moleo RGB, buya nilo RGB, RGB আর RGB.
Our team, so it really helpful for us.
So are you confident enough that you guys will become the champion of AWC 2025?
Kamu pede nggak kita bisa bakal menang AWC 2025?
Pede 100%.
So he said that we're 100% confident.
I love the energy. That is 100% come from EVOS. Thank you so much. And now I hope you guys can have a good rest at home and get prepared for the point rush and of course the final stage. Okay, good luck to you, Ray.
Thank you.
Let's throw back to our studio. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Thank you, Yunsol. Thank you, Carol, for the interviews. And I am glad we got to hear
Overall,
some final words from
rank.
Fluxo and EVOS because these two teams, they're done for the tournament and they basically have to wait to see where they end up on that leaderboard after tomorrow's matches because if you guys didn't know, Group B, they've played all of their games. And, I mean, I think the team said it right. It's not too much of a stretch to say they're not really happy with their performance the past 2 days.
Yeah, I can feel a contrast on both, like energy from both teams are representative, like Bob's really sad. He's feeling like they could have done so much in those matches. For Evo's Divine, yeah, they're saying that there's a lot of mistakes, but currently they're #1. So I doubt that they will be doing so much of adjustment. It's only a minor adjustment that they can be
looking at, as you mentioned, their energy. They probably wanted to do better.
প্রত্যেকবার ভাই প্রত্যেকবার এই বলছে না ইভোস অনেক ভালো খেলে ইভোস পড়ে গেছে
back at their hotel and then 2 scrims here for not only our production team make sure that everything goes smoothly, just to kind of be accommodating and enjoy the little space. That's why it feels that even for Fluxo saying they know our play style. When you've got 6 scrims, 12 games on top of the extra 6 official games, they played a multitude of matches against everybody in the arena.
Well, I think for EVOS, it's just okay because yesterday they did like a stable game. But for Fluxo, it's going to be really hard to maybe pass through this knockout stage and get into the point rush. So they need to pray to see how the teams will do yesterday, which I think is not like a good thing to do because today probably will be, I mean, easier because of the group, you know. So I think they are kind of worried about that too.
Well, let's see how much we have to worry as we check out the overall rankings for today's matches because we need to figure out where everyone currently is. Now, again, I'm going to remind you all, teams in Group B, they have finished all of their games and their points are going to look a little inflated compared to the other groups because they have played 2 days of free fire. Group A and C will be catching up with their final matches tomorrow, and that is going to be the end of the knockout stage. Now, Neptune, the man, the master of numbers, okay? Just looking at the leaderboard, and I want you to focus on teams in Group B. What do you think, in your opinion, based on the prediction, is going to be a safe number to cut you into top 12?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at 130, 135, around that range to be able to maintain your spot on the top 12. So there's a lot already from those in Group B that haven't made that cut. Well, we mentioned about Alpha 34 is already 68 points. We also have Fluxo like 106, unless the other teams from the next day would not be performing that well. Yes, they might be able to take that, but I'm just surprised with Lost right now. Imagine for 1 day it's 102 points and they just didn't slow down.
They didn't slow down, they looked great and they continue to look great. I mean, they're showing off that they deserve to be champions of the region, right? People were thinking, oh, is LOS really that good? Did they get lucky when they ended up winning their matches and even the Brazil finals? But I mean, I think it goes to show just seeing their matches over the course of this week, everything that they've gotten.
Yeah, I mean, we can even say that they don't deserve right after they did like a match with 18 eliminations, something like that. It was a bunch of eliminations, so they are really capable.
আমি একটু এমনি ঢুকবো গেমে আলিফা আসছো তুমি রাজিন কয়টার দিকে আসবে রাজিন কয়টার দিকে আসবে
রাত হলে
বারোটায় আসবো তো আমি আমার আইডি খেলতে পারি না ওরে আলিহা তুমি আসো হ্যালো কিছুটা নাই আসো अरे भाई কেউ মারতেছে না আমাকে আরে यार আরে আচ্ছা তুমি গেম আসছো দাঁড়াও हे प्रभु ये क्या हो गया अनबी तो लोनल खेलते हैं गाइस वेटी फिर राजन कोई गसोस